Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Hillside Prepper 552. This is our Thursday edition. Got a couple of things to discuss. One of the big things is the gas prices. I know we've talked a lot about that lately, but it seems to be the number one topic. Just kind of a little shocking thing I saw on Facebook this afternoon about gas prices out in California. Maybe I shouldn't be shocked, but I am because you look at it out here, and in this side over here, there's going to be an image that I'm going to pop up in a little bit that's going to show this. It was a screenshot from a local news agency out there. So, as our usual first talking point of La Palma, Bushcraft Bear, the guy that's on the island himself, better than any national or local news media. So, y'all know how the media loves to censor everything, especially during these events. His video today, prepare for stronger earthquakes. The IGN says new 6.0 magnitude earthquakes are possible. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, IGN is like the United States Geological Survey, except they're the Spanish government's volcano observatory people. So, haven't watched much of his video, but when you start talking the higher earthquakes 6.0, that's when you really start to talk about things like more devastation, more damage to buildings, things along those lines beyond just lava and ash. Now we're talking about complete ground unsettlement and cracked roadways, potholes or sinkholes, everything like that. So that's something definitely to keep an eye on. But what I'm going to discuss today is kind of going to tie into not only the gas, but your silver prices and something that was just suggested for a new bill for the 401ks. So let's start with AppMax like usual. Everything but gold is down. Gold is up. Everything else is down for today. Silver's down 14 cents. Although it looks like it was just about to hit the $24 mark. Platinum, palladium down. Not a significant amount for both, but still down quite a bit. Fox Business News. This was published 7 hours ago from the Wall Street Journal. Department of Labor proposes rule to add political directives to retirement savings. This rule would allegedly coerce workers and businesses into supporting progressive policies. The administration says the rule will make it easier for retirement plans to offer 401k funds focused on ESG, environmental, social, and governance objectives. In fact, the rule would coerce workers and businesses into supporting progressive policies. I don't know about you, but that's not something I would want in my retirement. That's the hard-earned money that I spent my lifetime working, or you spend your lifetime working. Why would we want to give money to those different types of things? You're already paying off in taxes. If you think about all the taxes that you pay throughout the course of your life, you pay your local taxes, you pay your sales tax, school taxes, property taxes, all kinds of other taxes. You sell a house, capital gains tax, the estate tax, and now they want to propose the death tax as well. I know you can't even die without getting taxed. But yeah, this would roll into 401ks if this was something that was allowed to go through. And it says that, this would be something that would push towards progressive policies. And people want to keep their 401ks and their money out of politics. If someone donates money to the Biden society, if you want to call it that, or to Trump, that's one thing. If they're actually making a donation to a political or public entity, compelling someone to do it through a 401k by putting rules and regulations on your retirement, it's just bad all around, and really it's just a dirty play by the progressives in Congress and the Biden administration. So, in that asset, I have to say I've been trying not to really have a lot of political sense in these videos, since this is more of prepping, but since it's becoming more political, you got the Biden administration and the United States government has their hands on enough of our money, and with all the taxes that we pay. Come on, stay out of the retirement money. It's bad enough that there's a certain percentage that you have to pay into your retirement, and the employers don't want to pay into the retirement sometimes. So really, just leave the retirements alone. Get your hands out of there. If you really want to go after these billionaires for all their greed and not playing by the rules, then you should be going after billionaires for that, and investigating them. Leave the American people and their bank accounts and their 401ks and retirements and Social Security out of it. So it's a little rant for that. But this ties in. This ties in with everything, because here comes the image now of a Facebook post that I saw earlier. If you can't read it very well, I had to shrink it down to make it into the video. So the local news station said, "Think our gas is getting high. Check out today's gas prices along the coast of California. From Gorda, a remote town located on the Big Sur coast, known for its hefty fuel prices." So I'm going to try to blow this up a little bit right now. If you can see that, the regular unleaded, this is what most people buy, $7.59 per gallon. Unleaded plus the 89, that's your higher grade premium, $7.99. So basically $8 a gallon. The premium unleaded, this is something that you would use if you're putting in your boat, your jet ski, something like that. $8.49. So basically $8.50 just for a gallon of the unleaded, premium unleaded. So we're at $3.50 roundabout. We're just a little bit lower than that here on the East Coast and in the central New York portions. You look, I mean, again, I can't get my finger over it because I'd have to relayer it, but still, $7.59, $7.99, $8.49, absolutely ludicrous. And this is once again something that's aimed at people who have to drive to work. This isn't aimed at the people living in the cities. This isn't aimed at people who have a 15-minute commute back and forth, less than 5 miles away. This is aimed at people who are driving 30, 40, 50, even 60 miles one way to work and back. This is so they can implement the electric car thing. But how is this going to play into prepping? Well, we talked about already with the energy crisis. It doesn't matter. Every kind of fuel, or let me rephrase that. Every kind of vehicle or piece of equipment that uses any type of gasoline or derivative of gasoline, anything like propane, fuel, diesel, whatever, that's going to increase significantly. I mean, I know it says a remote town. It's probably the same deal in Alaska if you're trying to get gasoline, where, they are more remote than we are, but still, $7.99 just for the 89. That's ridiculous. So how do you prepare for that? Well, when the gas prices are lower, you fill your tank. You don't really go many places unless you really have to. The store. You try to go to the store when you get out of work. You make your doctor's appointments while you are at work, so you would take time off to go. You make them before work, after work. The kids, if you have a day off, the kids' doctor's appointments would be when you pick them up from school or before you take them to school, that type of thing. So, in all reality, the best way to prep for this is, I can't obviously say hoarding gasoline. You don't want to be like those people that were pouring it into plastic bags, which is completely unsafe and illegal. But if you get yourself some extra containers, there are people in many rural areas that don't heat through the many of the propane companies anymore. They're doing it through their own means by getting kerosene or diesel. Now kerosene's a good thing to use, but you gotta watch your pricing on that. Diesel's good as well. A lot of places don't carry kerosene anymore. At least in this area, you have to go way out of your way to get it. Diesel's automatically on the pumps now, so if we were to use it for our furnace, it's only not even 2 full miles away. It's about a mile and a half. Easy to go down and get it, but you gotta watch those prices. A good tip that I've just discovered over the last winter was you get yourself the members or the rewards cards that you get from the different gas stations. Like the one down here has a rewards card when you get to 1,000 points or something like that, and it doesn't take long to get to those points, you get like 10 cents off up to 20 gallons. And then if you get, 2,000 points or something like that, then it's, 10 cents off or 25, so something like that. It's a bigger number. So the best time to really hit that is when the gas prices are on the low peak of the valley, and you have points to use on your gas cards. And this is something I learned from the truckers, watching some of the truckers on YouTube. I'm not a trucker, but it makes obvious sense if they're going long distances and using their cards regularly at gas stations like Pilot, Flying J, Loves, all those. You're gonna have uh, quite a bit of points that you can use not only to get food but to get some extra gasoline for a lower price. So it's been said many times in these videos that you need to really stock up on fuel. That whether that means getting a few small 2 or 5 gallon gasoline cans so you have something extra for your vehicle. If you have it for the generator, the diesel cans, the kerosene cans, uh, now's the time to really stock up on stuff. Out in California, $8 a gallon, that's outrageous. You are paying $32 for 4 gallons of gas. 4 gallon, so a good example in my vehicle, I drive a Ford Fusion, and I can't, the gas, the per mileage of the tank is all dependent on city versus uh, highway, but when gas was around 220, 230, something like that, $20 would get you 8 gallons, and that would get you pretty far. Now $20 gets less than 6 gallons at around about $3.50. And this is not an area where everything is close by. Employment's not close by. Uh, Major markets like Walmart, Target, Aldi's, Wegmans. For some people, those places might not sound familiar if you don't have them out west or south, but they're not close by. You have to go at least 30 to 45 minutes in any direction to hit one of those places. So if gas was to get $8 a gallon out here, it'd be virtually impossible to go anywhere. And again, with this being a rural area, your healthcare situation as well. There's no doctors in town. The nearest hospital, one's 30 minutes away, the other's 30 minutes away. You had to go south or east to hit a hospital. To hit a major hospital, Rochester, 60 miles to the north. Robert Packer, 2 hours to the south and the east. So, those are important things to consider. Obviously, gas prices can't dictate that you can't dictate your medical emergencies on gas prices. But you know, what is it better to be? Is it better to have a full tank of gas and not go anywhere, and then be able to get places when you need to, or you're scraping by because you didn't take the time to get gas while it was a cheaper price, and you continue to go out and go to dinner or do things that are just in too, they're just too risky when you're living on a paycheck to paycheck, or you're not fully prepared for what's going to come, because there's a lot of different things that could happen here. And if you think about it, when you start raising the prices of gasoline, the per the per barrel cost of oil is only going to go up to when OPEC starts seeing that we're paying these prices and not boycotting or doing anything to not pay those prices. They're just going to continue to increase it. And that's where your hyperinflation starts. Your value of your goods supersedes what it used to be. And it's not just gasoline for your vehicles that it affects. It's going to affect the pricing of food. If truckers have to pay more for gas to deliver the food and everything like that to the stores, you're going to have an increased cost in food, because the companies like Dollar General, Walmart are having to pay more for drivers and more for trucking. So they're going to have to charge more to pay their employees and pay fuel costs and for repairs. Oil that goes in your vehicle, the engine oil, that's going to increase as well. Every little thing that's going to happen here is going to be a chain reaction of other things. A farmer shared a photo today of all the different equipment that is used to basically farm to put in their tractors. We're talking power steering fluid, you're talking oil, all those different types of liquids and oils and gases that make those tractors go. So again, when their local product hits the local market, it's going to be more. The food on the food stands, you think of uh, a farmer's market food stand, or right outside their farm. You could pay $3 or $1 for 3 ears of corn. Next year, those 3 ears of corn might be $3 a piece, or even $5 a piece, maybe higher with everything that's going on. This is all one giant circle, one giant cycle, one giant chain reaction. When one thing happens, the others are affected. It's like in research, anything else. You have a dependent variable. That's the pricing. And then your independent variables would be, what Congress does, what OPEC does, what different companies charge for delivery. Just that price that you pay at the store is dependent on so many other factors. So now's the time. We've been saying it for over a year now, at least in the community, but you should be focusing on the few main things of preparing your home with lots of food in a situation where, and really that should be a thing anyway. If you live in the Northeast, or you live in a place where power is not exactly stable in the wintertime, you want to have food prepared, because if we had an ice storm and the power is gone for a week or two, your refrigerated stuff is all gone. That all has to be thrown away because that spoils. It has to be maintained at a certain temperature. So, you should be always having your house stocked with food. Gasoline, diesel, kerosene, all those different things, whatever you need to operate your equipment at home, whether it's lawnmowers, whether it's snow blowers, the furnaces, anything of that nature, extra fuel for your vehicles if there were ever a gas shortage or them rationing gas like they did under Jimmy Carter's administration. That's important to have prepared too. This whole prepping thing is not just about what people think is hysteria. It's really about getting people ready for the possibility of events happening and the reality that certain things, such as gas prices and food prices going up, is going to happen. And it's going to happen very quickly. Last year at this time, this was not something to worry about. This year at this time, and yes, it has everything to do with the new administration and who's in charge of Congress and who's in charge of the pricing. This has everything to do with that. We're under new. I'm not going to call it leadership because there's no leadership in that office. We're under a new administration and a new presidency. Everything is tanking pretty fast. So that's why things like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, those are expensive, but investing in those, precious metals. If we ever got into a Venezuela situation where our money is worth nothing, then you would need to have something to barter with. How do you expect to pay for food if you don't have anything to barter with? Back in the old days, we could talk about Old Testament, we could talk about the days of humanity and the new Stone Age, or whatever they call it now, because that changes a lot in school, or the Neolithic period, whatever. They bartered with animals, they bartered with services. If I'll give you food if you come and fix my roof or something like that. That's where we're heading. And precious metals saying, hey, I have this much silver. How much food or gasoline can I get with that? Is it going to get to that point? Who knows? Hopefully not, but probably will, with the way things are going in the world and this whole great reset mumbo jumbo that they've been speaking for the last 2 years now. So it's definitely something that we need to keep your eye on. And again, I'm going to show it again here at the tail end of this, just as a reminder of what is really going on. And this is a local news station out of California. So again, this is not something that's made up. This is not something that is a conspiracy theory. This is actually really happening. So, that's going to do it for this edition of the Hillside Prepper 552. Possibly back tomorrow with another episode. If not, we'll be back. I'll be back over the weekend with something. As always, we're going to keep an eye on La Palma. We're going to prepare for that because if that eruption gets worse, we're going to have more serious implications that'll have a worldwide and a profound worldwide effect. Keep an eye on the silver prices and what now they're going after your your retirement savings. They've been planning that a long time, but it's finally here. So, for the Hillside Prepper 552, this is going to do it for us, and we'll catch you guys on the next time.